Hi, I'm Keegan, and this is A Bunch of Gamers. This is our 147th episode of Werewolf the Apocalypse 20th Anniversary Edition, The Outcasts. I'm gonna go around and have my players introduce themselves.
I'm Tyler, and I play Kyle, also known as Guards the Low. He's a Philodox of the Children of Gaia.
Hi, I'm Sam. I play Cora. She's an Aruna in the Geta Fenris.
Hi, I'm Sean. I play Zeb Speaks-in-Sweet-Whispers. He is a Theurge of the Silent Striders.
Hello, my name's Thomas. I play Dimitri Howls-In-Memory, Lupus Galliard of the Bone Gnawers.
Hi, my name is George. I am playing William Grows-Matrices. He is a rune of the Glasswalkers.
Last time, the packs finally met up with Earthpillar and had to go to Electric Peak, a sept that they had not visited in years. Trying to avoid the notice of the Shadow Lords, they made a deal with a Bastet that they had seen long ago and kept her presence secret even from the ill omens. Agreeing to help them on one condition, the Bastet said that an ancient Fera Caern had been reawakened by the Garou. She wants the Garou gone, and the Caern returned to her and the Fera so that they can have a Caern of their own. The packs agreed and headed north. Once there, they were greeted by Sunsinger, a child of Gaia, Lupus, who brought them into the Bon and prepares to introduce them to the rest of the sept. Sunsinger goes, I'm sorry, being rude, let me introduce the rest of the sept. Here we have Forrest Always Prepared, our Glasswalker friend. As you see the young white man kind of sitting back in his really nice camping gear, and he's just like, he kind of gives a wave. You can tell that he's very uncomfortable here. And this is Veronica Killing Blow, Arun of the Black Furies. And that is Casey Against the Tide, Philodox of the Stargazers. And this one here, as you see the person with kind of antlers with one kind of half broken, is Brokenhorn of the Fianna.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you all.
It is nice that you came, Maria.
I suppose I can't speak for everyone, but you certainly don't need to use honorifics with me.
Thank you. Thank you. Please, we're going to perform a hunt in a little bit. We'll have some food ready. Sorry, we're not used to visitors here. We're so out of the way, and we've been trying to cultivate the Caern to increase its spiritual strength. Brokenhorn speaks up, and she goes,
I think that this place has hidden power. The spirits here seem more powerful than this level of Caern would suggest.
as she takes a deep breath, looks at herself, and goes,
Oh, I'm sorry.
as she shifts from her Crinus form to her Hamid form, as she is a young white woman with some freckles and red hair, leaning back in real kind of casual dress with her antlers still poking out through her mop of crimson hair.
You don't have any reason to be sorry. You can speak to us in whatever form you like.
And I appreciate it. I know that there are those who are more traditional, though I suppose with you not wishing for the honorifics, that you are not fully traditional Garou, that the Krynos form is meant for war or specific rites more so than interaction, as it implies violence, and I did not wish to imply violence with you.
Well, thank you. And I will take whatever form you are in as whatever you feel most comfortable as. So please, anything is fine.
Casey speaks up. So, what's brought you all here?
News travels that it's been found, and you're not wrong. The spirits here are certainly powerful, and noticed when you began to reopen the cairn. Although it's taken some time. How long have you all been here now?
Oh, about 2.5 turnings of the moon, maybe 3.
It's not the type of information that's moved as if it was insecure. Just people knowing what to listen for. What you've done is important.
I appreciate that. It's good to be in our own Caern, if I'm being perfectly frank with all of you.
I think time and again the Krenos-born are treated like outcasts, the Lupus are treated like morons, and our kin are treated like servants. So I can understand wanting your own place, most certainly.
Casey goes, I appreciate that you are all very polite, in that you are not looking at me with overt distrust. I know that my tribe has withdrawn from the nation, and it has made many other Cairns very difficult for me.
We traveled to a sept within the Umbra some time ago, and they were surprised, and I think I was too, I'll only speak for myself. It was hard news to hear, but the reasoning was sound, and I think people had to remind themselves that no one had turned on Gaia. They'd merely, I can't begin to interpret the philosophies of a stargazer. They are far too complex for someone as dense as I. But they seemed sound enough, and they seemed to be moving in the way they felt destiny would take them.
That is very nice. We went through a Fianna Cairn not too long ago, and Casey lifts up their shirt, and you see like this scar just ripped across the side. And when they found out what my tribe was, they tried to take a chunk out of me. A Get Sept was very similar, and on my back and my haunches.
Times are tough. I won't excuse that, but I think concern and fear and apprehension are playing a major role in folks' decisions because they believe that somehow we are becoming less potent in the times to come. As, again, grasping these concepts of evolution and change are, right and good except when you're deep in the fight with the worm. But again, I grieve for that cruelty.
Thank you. While I do think Spider is a terrible foe, I think Centipede is far more dangerous in these nights, and, if I'm being honest, as he looks over at Veronica, Kathy agrees with me, and then you see Casey wince as you notice that Veronica looks at them with confusion before Casey corrects themselves, going, sorry, Veronica agrees with me.
I can't imagine how difficult it has been for you. And although I can't pretend to understand the reasoning why the Stargazers left, I am certain it was not because the nation was too polite or too kind. So I see no reason we shouldn't offer that politeness or kindness to those we meet.
Thank you. That does mean a lot to me, they say as they kind of lean back and take a deep breath before Broken Horn chips in, and she goes, but you agreed on the strength of spirits, and you do think that there's more power to cultivate here. So, does that mean you know of something? I'm sorry, it's very rare that I get to speak to Thurges of such high rank. Those within my own tribe are very intent on me learning as I go, so to speak, or learning from the old tales only.
Is there? Based on the whispers and the things that I've heard, yes. Why do I say that? Ancient places that have been hidden for some time, we don't see cairns just pop up that are new and young, especially here. And if we believe the things that we've heard, especially what the Pure Lands once were, it was, deduction that seemed to corroborate what you've seen and caused me to kind of come to the same belief. And I don't quite understand the depth of it either. Only that it's possible, and the concern that I believe my contemporaries and I all share is that places like this, when found, are glorious, when lost, are very tragic, when hidden, are best. And that was part of the reason why we journeyed here, because we know right and well what it means to battle to keep a cairn, and what happens when things are not protected. And so now we are here just to see, as very few were talking about it. We happened through luck and happenstance to make our way here. I will be praised.
I understand. That was part of our reasoning. The Cairn is small enough for our pack to likely manage. A few more would be helpful, but we are able to manage with the small bond. Our senses go far, and, well, our friend Sunsinger is able to use some of his gifts to see and smell further, and as we gather renown in our actions, then surely we will become better at protecting this place. The other is, I don't want to call it paranoia, Rhea, but it's a concern. The old stories talk about the nation fighting as one well over a century ago with the Storm Eater. And as Cairns die, that mythical net that holds that spirit bound in the earth could break, surely creating more anchor points if it needs to be bound again. Can't be wrong.
You're revisiting a conversation that John Absolves the Innocent and I had just recently, and it was about this very subject, about the Storm Eater, about the actions taken by the brothers so long ago, noble sacrifice and trying to hold it back, and so many hidden places that not known, and what happens when those things start to weaken. We've seen some vision of it already in the Umbra, as the worm has been able to reach out, as portions of Beyond the Second Veil have begun to burst into the penumbra. So no, everything you're saying is exactly accurate. Unfortunately, your point is valid enough, and it was something that we had talked about, at least for a moment, as we were on our travel here. I believe you all were planning for a hunt.
Yes. We were going to shift into our lupus forms and try and find something. Figured we'd have to try and hunt a larger prey today, given the number of guests.
Well, let us accompany you, and because we have been traveling a long way ourselves, it's better to talk with a full stomach.
Excellent. Let's go on the hunt then, as they start all shifting into lupus form. And so you all shift into lupus with them, and you start going off on the hunt. You do find a excellent moose, chase it down, and you're able to take it down as a wolf pack of 11. Wolf pack with human-like intelligence of 11. And take it down, bring it back. Sunsinger and Broken Horn are digging in their share, just raw in their lupus forms, while Always Prepared pulls out like a little kerosene grill, pops out things, pulls out like a nice little knife and starts cutting off slabs and dropping them on as you get that nice sizzle from the griddle. Rare or medium rare? What's your preferences?
Honestly, I don't think Cora remembers the last time she had cooked food. Or actual food.
Well, Always Prepared. If you're cooking, I'll take it. Medium rare, salted, flipped over, twice at 2 minutes each side.
Perfect. As you see, pulls out like the little salt packets and sprinkles them over the meat. A little thing of cooking spray, just onto his griddle. Pulls out his phone. You see him put on the timer for 2 minutes exactly each side as prepared. And then pulls out a nice little set of paper plates that are extra biodegradable. Pops it on, biodegradable cutlery, and hands them to you.
Bill, I could have been traveling like this for the last year.
Don't you start looking at them in envy.
If the man has coffee, I'm inviting him to join the pack.
Oh, do you want coffee? As he pulls out like the little kettle thing and goes, we just got to get a fire started. I got grounds. They're kind of coarse.
Unfortunately, Dimitri knows nothing about cooking food and all he knows is about cars, so he's going to dig into the raw meat.
Dimitri in lupus. Yeah, Dimitri in lupus, living up and finally being a lupus. Bloodwind would be not proud, but,
You'd say
not disappointed.
Maybe.
A little less disappointed.
Less
He'd curtly
disappointed.
walk by you instead of insulting you, right?
Cora was also just gonna dig in because it's already there and she's in lupus form already, and it's less time to wait for actual food.
Always Prepared gets their plate to the side and goes, I'm sorry, Jebediah, how would you like your moose prepared?
Same as Bill here. He apparently has a far more refined palate than he was letting on. He and I will have to have a discussion later on about all of the joys in life I could have been having.
Packet of salt, packet of pepper, packet of salt, packet of pepper on the other side. Once again, another spray down. Perfectly cooked. There you go.
Thank you. What? Are you all from the same sept originally?
We were gathered all from all over the country, actually. Always Prepared says as he starts to nibble away. It's fewer and fewer have been changing. I think we're the first to go through our first change in over a year across the nation, at least on this continent.
No, there have been fewer and fewer cubs. What was your home sept then, if you don't mind me asking?
I came from San Francisco. Monica is from, and he looks and he starts to think, and she looks at Always Prepared and goes, "If you say Texas, I'm hitting you." She goes, "I'm from Wyoming." Casey is from Southern California, and Broken Horn there is originally from the Sept of the Hidden Glade.
You're all a pack now?
Yes, we've been a pack since our first change and all being gathered together. We got pulled into the Sept of the Green as neutral ground and went on our rite of passage together.
Who's your totem?
We follow Pegasus.
John, I believe we went through the Hidden Glade at one point, didn't we?
Oh, I think so. It must have been years ago now. And we've definitely spent a fair amount of time at the Sept of the Green.
Mm-hmm.
Did you all get to spend any time there, or was it just meeting up and leaving?
It was meeting up and leaving. The problem was that soon after our rite of passage and us picking our tribes, maybe half a year passed before the Stargazers officially withdrew from the nation.
Did Agatha ask you to leave then?
She didn't, but it was uncomfortable, especially with all the Shadow Lords there. While she didn't ask us to leave, the looks we got from most of the other Garou there was kind of off-putting.
That's frustrating. If we assume, for a moment, that whatever reason the Stargazers left for, it was wrong. They were wrong to do so. Then you'd think the one who stayed behind should be lauded, shouldn't they? This is someone who stood against the grain, who said, "No, I will do what I believe is right," and somehow, even in their mind, that's not enough.
Casey goes, "They think I'm as fickle as the rest of my tribe, and they think, well, that Casey there, they might just leave any moment now, so don't trust them." That's essentially what they said, and most of them are angry and confused, and they're placing what they view as the sins of my tribe at my feet, and that I have to answer for my whole tribe as to why they left, even though I was just a Cleoth at the time.
That is a heavy burden you bear, and I'm sorry that you carry it.
That's why we were on Ruth for a while until we found this place.
It's a shame more of the nation isn't willing to bear any of the burden of the guilt that we should carry for the things that we as a nation have done. But yet those same people would put those burdens directly on you, for your tribe.
Yeah, it's difficult, they say, as they kind of scratch a bit of stubble and then kind of scratch their breast before kind of just looking away awkwardly.
And in all your travels, you've not run across any other Garou that were favorable towards you?
Some were, but at that point, we were used to the traveling lifestyle. And Garou die all the time. And so even if we found a sept that was mostly favorable to us, there was always the fear that enough would die and enough unfavorable ones would find their way to the Caern to make life difficult.
If you grow this Caern, wouldn't there still be that same fear?
There would be some, yes, but because we were foundational and we built relationships with the spirits, we have a better chance of preventing those kinds from moving in or forcing them to keep those particular opinions to themselves.
Dimitri's gonna fill in the awkward silence after they finish telling their story and say, "So, what theories do you have as to why the spirits are stronger here?"
It could be that we're inexperienced and we haven't unlocked the Caern's full power. If that's the case, if we can draw some more young Garou here, or if we improve our own ranks and our own connections to the spirits here, perhaps we can try and reopen the Caern and unlock its true potential.
How do you plan on doing that when you don't have elders taking care of the Caern as well?
We'll take care of it. There's glory to be had in making strikes. We can run and attack oil caravans. We can find tar sands nearby and do small raids and fight the battle quickly and with precision. There is wisdom in building the relationships with the spirits here, and glory to be had in bending problematic spirits to the will of the rest of the Caern so that the Caern can thrive, and there is honor in maintaining a sacred place and making sure that it grows in strength.
Why do you think that this place has remained unknown to the Garou for so long?
This is Sun Singer. I think it's because the Garou have contracted so much. They're desperate to hold on to what they have, which is understandable as Caern's fall all the time. But being en route and moving all the time and having no place to call our own, we were able to find the threads of this place, and it called to us in a way, because we were the ones not bound by the desperation of holding on to something, because everything pushed us out until we could find something that was worth protecting with all of us here.
So if you were called to find this place, could be that you're called to find other places too. It is not an easy life that the six of us know. We've been traveling for years now, but there is glory, honor, and wisdom in finding such hidden places.
True, but these hidden places must be protected once they've been opened.
Perhaps this is me thinking back on stories that I've heard as a Galliard, and you mentioned that it was probably closed because the Garou, we as the Garou had to pull back. But what if another of the changing breeds used to hold this place?
Sunsinger goes, that would be a terrible loss then, because we've eliminated nearly all of them. If the Garou can barely hold on to Cairns, the Fera, I've heard that the Garal are extinct, the Nuisha are fickle and they move from place to place. The only Fera of great number that I'm aware of is the Korax, and even they are significantly lower in population than even the Garou.
Size aside, how do you feel about the Fera? Would them holding this place not be a boon to Gaia, or would it be a tragedy?
Sunsinger goes, I think it would be a boon if there were any left. The Fera, according to the children of Gaia, were greatly wronged, and there are many songs of my tribe that speak to this, of how the children of Gaia were used to try and soothe peace, only to be tricked and have the other tribes rend the Fera at peace talks until the children of Gaia were no longer trusted. Or when a child of Gaia and a Silent Strider came across a battlefield of Fera and Garou, and they both fell into such depression that they wept and they spent the night together, and they conceived the first Krynosborn, who became the first Ronin. There are many stories that say how we've done the Fera wrong. Casey speaks up and they go, yeah, I feel that I'm in a similar boat. The Fera having this place would be just, but from my understanding, there's just no Fera left. Or if there are, they're just so rare that this would be under the protection of one, maybe two Fera. Veronica kind of speaks up and she goes, Creatures of the wild, I believe in them, but it would be different, and I think that the wild would appreciate that, and the Garou have become too embedded in static thinking. Always Prepared goes, I guess. I just don't think it's practical. Sure, if there was a Fera and they wanted to be our mascot, that's totally fine with me, just because, once again, they're just not enough around, and, I mean, it would bring some renown here, certainly. A group of outcasts pulling in another Fera, but beyond that, you know, one were puma or one were bobcat is just not gonna cut it. I mean, older brother and younger brother are having troubles with their own Cairns, right? So why would the Fera, who are even fewer, be any different? And finally, Broken Horn goes, some Fera, I believe. The Korax have always been kind to the nation in the tales of the Fianna, but the Fianna know that the bear had fallen to the worm long ago and placed banes in the corpses of changers to turn them. It's what sparked the War of Rage, and while the flames of the war spread beyond the righteous bounds of the Garou were worm-tainted according to the myths and the legends spoken of the Fianna, the Silver Fangs, and even some of the Geta Fenris.
And those same tribes attacked Casey out of desperation and fear, did they not?
As I said, that's the War of Rage. The War of Rage was that our rage went into an unjust direction, but the werebears were placing banes in the body of changers and turning them into monsters. And then the wereboars were eating worm things and becoming worm-tainted within their bellies. They were worm creatures. They had become Fera like the Black Spiral Dancers. What's happening to Casey is not the same thing, because the Stargazers didn't join the worm. They joined a different group of Fera, none of which who have fallen to the worm. There are no Garou in the Beast Courts that I am aware of. There are dragons and foxes, from what I've heard.
Well, assume for a moment then, just for a moment, that there was some Garou somewhere, some bear changer, or even the ancestors of some, anything. Why would they make themselves known to Garou when Garou believed this about them, when they would kill them on sight? Because we believe them to be corrupted. They would have no reason to show themselves.
I'm sorry, Rhea. I'm not sure I'm following, she says.
I mean to say, if one did exist, it's not the worm that they would be in danger of if they hadn't fallen to it. It would be us.
Perhaps, but there's no risk of that. The bear changers are extinct.
No, I don't intend to speak otherwise. I'm just trying to explain that the things we know, we believe in our heart of hearts to be true, are true right up until the moment we find out they're false. And when the Garou win, and Kyle will put that in air quotes, they are the ones who write history. And whether it was true or not, that is the history that is passed to us.
I suppose that's true, though I know there's differing accounts. I know that your tribe, Rhea, and of course Sunsinger's tribe are of the mind that the Garou were wronged, but it is deeply divided between the tribes on if that's true, and I suppose we'll never know.
There are places that even lost information can be found. Realms in the Umbra that you have yet to experience and maybe even hear of. Least yet. We have been a great many places, and that does not mean that we hold the keys to truth. But I do think it means it gives us a perspective that many Garou do not have, because of the sheer breadth of places we have visited.
I understand. I think I understand, Rhea. What are you attempting to get at?
I would tell you that in the spirit realm, one of the many realms we visited, I suppose it doesn't really matter which one at this point, we saw the Gronder, and how they eat the worm infestations and purify them in their bellies. A thing that, when one does not watch the process, they would misunderstand. They would think they themselves had turned to darkness, but instead, they had burned it from the world completely.
Okay, I'm gonna have, I guess I'll have to find Kyle's character sheet, because I'm gonna have to have you roll Charisma Expressions.
I think I made Riley send me my character sheet, so I should be able to at least get you my pool.
Okay. It's
Yeah.
6? Okay.
Oh,
Yep.
okay.
And I would like to activate Persuasion.
Okay, that's, something subterfuge, I think.
Charisma Subterfuge, difficulty 7.
Yeah, and that's
Alright.
I have 5 dice in that. Thank you for tolerating my
Okay,
AFK-ness, I suppose.
that went off well. And then you said you had 6 in the other pool?
Yes.
Good, that's also diff 7 now because of your persuasion then. You make a fairly convincing argument, and Broken Horn kind of nods and goes, I concede that that is likely the truth, and that the Garou did get it wrong, and that the Fianna legends are mistaken. Thank you, Rhea.
More than changing your mind about the legends of old, I would change your mind about how things are now. Just, you know your Stargazer friend. You know what they went through because you were there. Just grant everyone that kindness.
I think I understand. I'm not blind to those prejudices as a Crinosporn. Always prepared, kind of shrugs, pulls out a couple bottles of water, takes them if anyone wants one, and goes, still issue with the numbers then. If you were to replace all of us with Fera, that's probably half of the Fera on the continent. Unless they're all Korax.
Would you not think that they have powers to hide or to fight stronger than one of us?
To hide, maybe. That's probably how some have survived, but to fight us, I'll be quite honest with you, Rhea, I don't. That's why they lost.
I didn't say us. We are not the enemy to them here, but it is the worm.
That even if they have the ability to fight the worm, if they are weaker than us, they're less equipped to defend this place. If we're going to talk hypotheticals, of course.
Because we're all holding secrets, Keegan, and we're talking secretly, and we have been repeatedly talking around secret information for this time, and we've been drawing this out for a bit in nuanced terms and in hidden ways with pseudonyms, I'm going to use all of this as part of my ritual for summoning a spirit of secrets to then speak in the open.
What kind of level of spirit are we talking here?
I was thinking Gaffling, but maybe we need to go higher for something like this, and so I'm just checking, sir. I guess, you know, not Gaffling. That'd be too low. Would it be really between Jagling and, I mean, Totem Avatar doesn't quite work, does it? Would Jagling
yeah,
be the most, that level?
Yes, yeah. So that'll be a diff 4, thanks to your time. The spirit sort of arrives, Zebulon, as you feel the slickness on your back only briefly, like a kind of the hackles on the back of your neck rising as you hear the whispers. Why have you called to me, brother?
I will offer a gnosis. I wish for you to be strengthened by having a secret shared, an important and powerful secret for those that do not know, that must now keep it to 2.
To think that a secret could grow amongst others and become more hidden, how do you propose?
They must know so Gaia's power may grow, but they will be bound to keep it, and thus there will be strength in both young and old, bearing a secret and keeping it, and suffering should they disclose it.
I like this game, kin, yes, but it has to be done proper. It has to be a game. Get them to agree first, and then tell them of the consequences after.
Very well, Kin. Whisper to me when you are sated, and we shall bind them.
You feel a tickle on the back of your ear that indicates that the spirit agrees.
I will give it another gnosis, Keegan, just to keep it present and sustained while we talk. Jebediah will speak to them now aloud. We spoke in part about some of the power here, and it being noticed and being shared. You, among the striders that I trust, brought this information to me. They gleaned it from those that perhaps, well, you would not believe. But again, the power here has grown for some time. Bearing information and the sacredness of that, that pact knowledge is very important as all of you grow. And it's important to understand sometimes that there's a much larger will of the universe per se, or at play, that determines what's about to happen here now. And some of the things that you've already had my compatriot here, John, speak to you about have changed your beliefs, at least to a degree, to understand that there are things that you have learned, and things that maybe would even make you distasteful to those that have already cast you out once. Imagine being cast out a second time for knowing something new or contrary, after your very existence was contrary to their belief, or at least anathema. You've all been out here for some time carrying your own burdens. What has it meant to you to do that? And I ask you now as a theurge, as a counselor to our people. You've been at this a long time trying to figure out your way. What has that burden been like?
Casey speaks up first, goes, difficult. Very difficult. Broken Horn goes, very difficult. Since my birth. Veronica goes, difficult in that I must stand with them, but easy because I know the rest of the nation is wrong in this matter. And so if I have to bear their scorn, so be it. Sunsinger goes, it hasn't been too difficult recently. It was difficult jumping from Caern to Caern and not being able to find any sort of community. Always Prepared goes, it's been hard. I do kind of miss being in Cairn's at least a little closer to the city. Roughing it's fine, but I do have to run pretty far to keep up with my namesake.
You all bound yourselves to Pegasus and made your way here. What did it mean to keep your intentions secret, to slip away in the night? Well, I am being colorful in my storytelling, but to make your way here, without notice, without knowing, was it merely that you were forgotten, or that you understood the peril that was involved?
Sunsinger goes, mostly forgotten at some point. Further you go out in the more rural the Cairns, the less they care about you sometimes, if you're just passing through.
Were you betrayed by any of those you trusted?
Broken Horn
I ask
kinda.
a deep personal hurt, and I mean this only again, in the spirit of my auspice, as I ask you all to know you.
Broken Horn speaks up. She takes a deep breath and she points to her broken antler. Yes, I was old enough to speak. My mother went into a frenzy, screaming how she wished that her honor had never been besmirched, and she ripped part of my horn off in her fury as I tried to run away in Krynos.
I know of what it means to be betrayed by a parent, or at least feel the betrayal of love. Not to by any means tamper or diminish what that means for you, but I honor and respect what you've told me. And what now? All of you have bound yourselves here, believing in each other, believing that you will keep this place a secret, that your work together will remain hidden.
They all agree at the same time and speak in one voice, yes.
And you've bound yourselves to fight the worm. Keep those places of Gaia beautiful and lush and whole, as clearly you've been dedicated here now.
Yes, they all say in unison again.
And you would know that to betray that trust, that secret, that thing that you hold most dear that makes us have meaning and have belief and have others believe in you would destroy you should you disclose it and speak of it?
They all say yes, and then you feel that tickle on the back of your ear as the spirit lights up from behind you, and all you hear, all of you in the same whispering voice, and so it shall be. And the spirit departs.
I will have my compatriots begin to share a secret with you all now.
And Dimitri will speak up and say, we are not the only ones that have a secret to keep. We come here because there is a Fera that wishes to protect this, and in the interest of planting seeds for a future where maybe, just maybe, some of the Fera would be willing to work with the Garou. We have agreed to help keep this place hidden, to help keep it safe. But part of that bargain involves asking you all to leave.
You see several emotions. You see contemplation on Sunsinger's face. You see kind of a spark of, I get to leave, on Always Prepared's face. You see some contemplation on Veronica's face, and you see absolute hurt and pain on Casey's and Broken Horn's faces.
Be that as it may, there is a sept in Wisconsin, the Sept of the Five Mirrors, that we believe your pack would find not only a place to influence politically, but also a place that would welcome you. And we know that soon a concordant will be held. But after this concordant, we will be coming up to the Sept of the Five Mirrors to join you. And we can send word ahead to vouch for you. But we don't want to just tell you to leave and leave you out to die. We want to help you. We want to help you find a place.
Broken Horn kind of grabs her face. She shifts into Glabro unconsciously. And she goes,
Oh, a place to stay. Please. Okay. So to go with the tribe that will say mule behind my back rather than the tribe that says mule to my face.
Casey speaks up and goes, kind of just, you see them kind of shaking their leg and them going to a Caern that if they don't look at me with distrust, I can guarantee that they'll just look at me with pity. What a wonderful trade. Bonds of fellowship and being siblings and aiding Gaia to aiding Gaia and then being filled with gazes of pity of Garou, who will more than likely slip up and ask me, have you spoken to your tribe recently? Broken Horn speaks up.
A tribe that will say, we accept you for what you are, and then continue to dance around what I am, trying to be blind to what I am, not understanding what my problems are. You want us to give up a place that finally feels like our own, to be pegs somewhere else?
I am not going to pretend that this is not a heavy thing we ask you. It would be pointless to do so, and it would be a lie. And I cannot, he'll hold his breath for a moment and look down. I cannot understand everything that the two of you have gone through. I can empathize and I can say sweet words, but I can't understand. All I can say is that I am sorry. But yes, this is a thing we would ask you for, and we, those of us here, would try and make it as easy as possible for you. But I can do nothing else but admit that I cannot promise that it would be easy, because it won't be.
As Broken Horn just takes a deep breath, she is trying very hard not to just cry, as she just wipes her eyes constantly and goes,
Okay. I think I understand. I guess it's the mule's job to carry heavy burdens, even when they don't want to. Fine. Nothing we can do to really stop you.
There was a reason I brought up possibly looking for other Cairns. Your home is not a physical location, much like my own Rhea. Home is with your own pack. Where you travel and who you travel with, that's home.
Sunsinger goes, we've known that. Home is together, but home will be hostile until we can either find a new Caern to awaken, or we finally fight out a strong enough niche for ourselves. Thank you, Riaz, but we would like to take some time with ourselves. The next day passes, and they agree and they start heading off, which gives you guys time to summon the spirit, and you wait a week before Earth Pillar arrives as he carries the child and says, "So it is done. I'll wait here for my companion, but she'll be here in a couple days. You can spend another 2 days possibly recovering, but once that time is over, I suggest leaving just so that you're clear of the area so that she does not have an unpleasant reaction."
Sounds like a plan.
And so you wait another 2 days, just recovering. Regain all your gnosis.
Playing
Thankfully.
with the baby, finally.
You hang with the baby for 2 days before you have to say goodbye again.
Right.
Meatball kind of clingy as you leave again, and they kind of roar and howl and snarl as you leave, making a show of things. Meatball picks up like a rock and throws it half-heartedly at you to try and get attention so that you'll turn around. And you continue your journey as you now have to figure out how to get the final elders to call for the concordant. But we will find out how that goes next time. Thank you to everyone who listened. We'll catch you in the next episode. Bye.
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 Bye.